And it may really help if I mic in. There we go. How does that? Good evening, all. Sorry about that. Um, anyways, I suppose everybody's been watching the news, like what happened to the south of our borders in the United States with the Mueller report finally coming out, and the meltdown that the Democrat liberals are having down there. And then if you look north to the liberals up here, are having a meltdown over SNC, the leaked information on the Supreme Court justices. You see a comparison there where people are just kind of like the left has just totally lost it, basically. Uh, and it kind of comes to mind that they're all dealing with the same playbook. I mean, as far as Trump goes, no matter where you stand on the deal there, I mean, he has done the United States good. I mean, I lived there 11 years and got a lot of respect for the United States. I know a lot of Canadians don't want to hear that, but that's fact. Knew a lot of people. I was there pre 9/11 and after. Um, there's a lot of good people there, a lot of honest, hardworking people, like there are in Canada. And the bad part is that what we hear mostly is like the CNN, NBC, ABC, all the kooks out there. And we flip to the north, and then we have in our own right, we've got the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation or Communist Broadcasting Corporation, whatever you want to call it. I've heard that referenced several times, but they're all keeping the same narrative. It's just Canada, the CBC and CTV to an extent, um, have really been pushing the Trump narrative, which I kind of really was unbelievable for Canadian uh, content that they're talking about the United States and the President Donald Trump. Um, in the meantime, we've got our own village idiot here, Trudeau, running amok, and basically they gave him a free pass until now. And then now you see CTV starting to do a little bit of backpedaling, a little bit. There's still some morons in there that are just kind of like not ready to quite admit that Trudeau's an idiot. And go figure. I mean, realistically, you listen, and I mean, you watch. And my big problem comes with the same thing over and over again. And I mean, it's the same in the States as it is up in Canada. They push the same narrative over and over and over again. Look at Trudeau. He could do push ups. Look at him doing calculus and, on and on and on. Quantum mechanics, quantum computing. Who cares? He can't run the country. And I really doubt that, being able to do push ups and yoga really has anything to do with your ability to run the country, but I get maybe it does. I guess if you look at it and people think you're a pretty boy, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, what a cute little guy. We'll get him to run the country." And basically, our news agencies just ignored him. Just basically everything he did, the stupid things that he said, and then you listen to the shrills they got out there that are liberal, which most of CBC. Um, it's like the guy can't talk publicly to save his life. Point case of point, you go and you look at some of his public speeches or all of his public speeches, and it's not only the guy is a total idiot. It's Does anybody here watching me here right now honestly believe, can look me straight in the eyes and tell me that he's exactly sincere when he's talking? Because it sounds like a terrible actor that didn't learn his lines, that is somewhat trying to be convincing to somebody, and he's not convincing anybody. Obviously, there's people here that have just totally ignored that fact because he's got nice hair or whatever. Because it's an embarrassment. I mean, realistically, if you had somebody like that in your company stand up in front of a board meeting and do that, they'd be fired. Because number one, you can't afford to have an idiot running parts of your company. You can't. Obviously, running a country is a lot different. Obviously, the last 4 years we're able to afford having an idiot run the country. And case in point, SNC Lavalin, you know, we're getting it's going on and on and on and on. And you hear he said, she said, whatever. Let's just have a public inquiry, you know, and get everything out in the open and all the facts, and then make a decision. You know, let both of them talk. Let's hear what Trudeau has to say. Well, we already heard he lied how many times? Another pass from the news on that one. But it's like, let him talk. You know, let us decide what's true or not. You know, you can't change the narrative every 30 seconds. You know, every town you go to, you can't have a different answer for the same question. You know, if you do answer the question, you know, anybody answer this. When I ask you a question about SNC Lavalin, and you start talking about Canadian jobs in Western Canada and, you know, the carbon tax and all this stuff, what the hell does that got to do with SNC Lavalin? You know, and I mean, yeah, they said 9,000 jobs, et cetera, which was turned out to be bullshit. Uh, but it just proves the point that he doesn't got a clue. You know, he just verbal diarrhea. And just anything comes out of his mouth and you don't know. I mean, all you have to do is just go back and look at all the videos of everything he's done since he's been not just prime minister but as an MP, and just look at some of the ridiculous things the man has said. And after you listen to what he said, you tell me, is that somebody you would have voted for, or is that somebody you want to vote for to run the country? And I mean, seriously, if you were sitting in a bar or you were sitting at home and you had a guy at the table, your kitchen table, talking to you like that idiot talks to the rest of us, I'm pretty sure you'd show him where the door was or put him through the door, because it's absolutely unbelievable. The other thing I wonder is how intelligent are these people who have been fooled by this man? I mean, are they that much liberal supporters that they don't care if they got a sock puppet up there? And realistically, that's what he is. I mean, it's hard to fathom that when you talk to other people in the world, and obviously you're not going to hear this on the news, but I game a lot and I play with guys from all over the world. And the most common question I get is, where did you guys pull that freaking moron out of? They said, did you guys hate yourselves? He says, because wow, he says, that's just pathetic. And especially when he did that trip to India, people were just, they're laughing at us. They figure we're all idiots here. They figure we're like him. If we elected somebody like that, how smart are we? Yep, and that's fact. I mean, that's, you look at it. You know, do you consider yourself an idiot because he's our prime minister? Because that's exactly what he's projecting, and it's sad. I mean, this thing about the Supreme Court justices leak. Now, that's another one, and just it's really strange how all this stuff just kind of keep coming out, but nobody does it. You know, nobody does it. It's just, oh, it didn't come from here. It didn't come from here. And then you listen to the rules that are set around how they pick a Supreme Court justice. That should never have hit the public. Number one. So how did it? Okay, let's find out. I'm not going to accuse anybody, but let's find out what happened. How did that get out into the news? If nobody leaked it, how did it get to the news? How did it get out there? You know, I want to know. We're paying these guys damn good money. So what? That's the other thing. They take an oath of office, and they're supposed to be representing us, the people, here through their constitution, as weak as the Canadian Constitution is. Um, they're supposed to be representing us, not waving the flag of a party or, you know, and uphold the laws of the land. And I don't see that. The last 4 years, I don't see that. We're just having a conversation here. Um, about like mining, oil and gas, forestry, a lot of our industries. I mean, Canada, we don't have a huge population. We got the second biggest country in the world. We've got a large landmass. So what are we doing here? Um, they basically killed mining's like toast. Oil, gas, that's pretty much toast. I mean, you know, it's gone. So where are the jobs going to come from? I mean, you have to make things. You have to produce something. Farmers, all that stuff. You got to make something. Somebody has to make it. We can't all be bankers, we can't all be lawyers, and we can't all be doctors. Somebody at the end of the line has to make all this stuff. They have to mine it. They've got to grow it. They've got to drill it. They've got to process it, turn it into a final product, whatever that may be, a glass, cup, whatever. Somebody has to do that. And those were damn good paying jobs. Mining, oil and gas. Now what? And maybe they did create a lot of jobs, but if you look in depth at some of the numbers, take a look at the wages of those jobs. Now, how many out there can make a living and actually live on 12 to 14, 15, $16 an hour? And that's usually in the larger urban centers. How many people? And I don't know very many. And then you add the carbon tax, you add all the PST, the GST on top of that. Bang. And I'm not blaming Trudeau for obviously that all that. I mean, that's just there, but they've added to it, and we didn't need it added. And how does that help us? So I hear this. Oh, look at what he's done for the country. He's embarrassed us. And going back to the media, they've totally ignored that embarrassment. They've totally ignored a total collapse of our resource industry in Canada. And I mean, it's sad. It's really sad. So what, are we all going to work at McDonald's? Are we all going to work at Amazon if they stay? What are we going to do? We're going to turn the whole goddamn country into a national park? I mean, it's bloody ridiculous. It's embarrassment. I work mining. I worked oil and gas. You know, good jobs, good paying jobs, $30, $40 an hour. You worked hard, and a lot of people in the country do it. I'm not the only one. That's a good way to make a living. Somebody has to do it. What are we doing now? That's it. It really looks how that we've gone like down this slope, and it's almost like straight down now, where we're talking about the SNC Lavalin and the budget and all this stuff here, and it's like totally ignore. Okay, how are people living? And I know I could speak mainly to Vancouver, where I live. The cost of living here is freaking astronomical. If it goes up anymore, you talk to a lot of people, they're ready to leave. Okay. So let's say you lose a lot of your population here, the people who don't have large family units all living in one house that leave. Who's going to service all these people with all the money? Who's going to service them? Because there's no place else to go. I mean, you're going to move out wherever, where it's cheaper to live. That's what we're looking at. And I'm simplifying things greatly. I understand that, but I mean, in a nutshell, you talk to your everyday people out there, they just hand them mouth. That's it. You know, nothing saved, nothing up there, no help from the government. They hear a lot of the pretty words, like, oh, we're here for you, the middle class, blah blah blah. You know, we're giving you all this money back, and people are looking okay. Number one, there is no money back, and number two, you can't tax what we don't have because we've already give till we bled. Um, so now what? So now people are going to be forced to make a decision that they're going to have to move out, going to go someplace else. So that's coming down the pipe. Where's the media on this? You listen to the liberals like that, and the media has. It's just everything is just so rosy in this country, just wonderful. Everything's perfect. Couldn't be anything wrong here. It just, Justin Trudeau at the helm. Look at diversity, women, blah blah blah, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, okay, well, if it's so perfect, why are we in such a freaking mess? Those are pretty simple questions, but I don't hear any damn answers. I hear all these people who have a lot of money coming out and saying, "Oh, well, this will all even out," or some long form answer that means absolutely nothing to the average person out here. Whereas you're living day to day on 12, 14, 15, 16, $17 an hour, they don't care. They could care less. They just they want to get ahead. The people want to work. But what? You're going to go out and kill yourself for $14 an hour? I'm sorry. Loyalty comes a little more expensive than that. And I mean, that's a whole debate there, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying. So where have the liberals done here for that? What have they done actually? I mean, look at their immigration. How much money have they spent on immigration? And if you listen to this, please, in the comment section, tell me what have they done. And I don't want to hear about, well, we need people for further economic benefits, because that's bullshit. We can't take care of the people we got here, so we're going to bring more people. So what? So we can lower the wage further? Okay, like, I fail to see. We just lost oil and gas industry. Mining sucks. Forestry's down. Agriculture's taking a beating. So what are we bringing all these immigrants for? And it's not a racist attitude. That's the question. What's it going to be? And using the 1920s and the 1918, it's not a great example, and it's very different than what's happening today. Very different. So I don't know. The only thing I could see right now is, I mean, he's a lying piece of garbage, Trudeau. Yeah, it's embarrassing to even say that he's the prime minister, that we've gone through 4 years of hell with this man or kid, or whatever you want to call him. And how long is it going to take us to correct all this? Even if they don't win the election, there's a correction needs to come here, and that ain't going to come cheap. So, and I'm not advocating for you vote for any one party, the Conservatives or whoever. I'm just saying, look at it realistically. I mean, can we afford 4 more years? I'll tell you, and I've said this many times before, and I'm going to wrap up here shortly, that if you get if you get them elected again, we're in big trouble in this country, because there will be a fight coming, and it won't be a nice one, because people are already backed up into the corner and they can't back up anymore. And when you corner somebody and you don't give them any outs, respectable out, you're asking for it. And that's a fact. That's history will prove me right. And that's where we're headed. People say, "Oh, no, that never happens in Canada." Well, right now we got a prime minister who's on his fifth ethic violation, probably done some criminal things. Like I said, need a public inquiry to find out. That's never happened in history before. So did that make him a great guy? Yeah. I guess maybe he should start selling hairbrushes there, saying the Trudeau hairbrush, or the hairbrain. One of them two. Anyways, food for thought. Um, Tell me what you think. I'd be interested. I know there's a lot of people that don't like Trudeau out there, and I know there's a lot of people who do like Trudeau out there. The ones I wanted to ask is, why do you like Trudeau? What has he done? And the only thing I ask is use facts, not his nice hair or he's a great guy or he's a horrible public speaker, but just facts. What has he done? Realistically, what has he done? And I'll leave it at that. I'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe to my channel. I'll try to be on a little more. get a little more detailed here as we go along. Anyways, you all have a good night. Great talking, and we'll see you all soon.